Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and the biggest change in Zack Snyder's Justice League, at least when it comes to the broader implications of the DC cinematic universe, was the Flash, and his newly revealed ability to reverse time. Not only did this close the loop with the unanswered questions from Snyder's Batman v Superman, the precise ripple effects we saw of Barry Allen's timeline manipulation established some solid rules for the DC multiverse in titles like the upcoming Flash movie, which is confirmed to adapt the crucial Flashpoint Paradox comic storyline, as well as other titles like the Suicide Squad and the Batman, if those films choose to do so. And that's a big if. At the moment, the canonicity of the Snyder Cut is, according to Snyder, somewhere between whatever the studio decides to do with their IP and whatever the most passionate fans want it to be. Arguably, that's always been the case. But here I gotta explain how exactly the Flash and the Snyder Cut alter the timeline of the DC universe, and everything we have learned about this upcoming Flash film, and how we should look at titles like the Suicide Squad and the Batman in relation to the Snyder Cut and the Flash. Okay, so Zack Snyder's changes to Barry Allen's story in Justice League began with his dramatic rescue of Iris West, followed by new dialogue with his father, Henry Allen.
I can't sit here and watch you run in place in Central City for some old dude who's not going anywhere.
I want you to make your own future.
You're living in the past.
Make your own future.
Henry is falsely in prison for the murder of Barry's mother, Nora, an unsolved case inspiring Barry's pursuit of a criminal justice degree to clear Henry's name. Now, later in the Snyder Cut, right before Barry uses his Speed Force to jumpstart the Mother Box to resurrect Superman, he explains this in another new line added by Snyder.
I don't like to break this rule, but when I approach the speed of light, look, crazy things happen to time, but
so that when Barry reverses time to sync with the Mother Box's point of contact, that action alters the timeline, causing this echo in Cyborg's brain to see how resurrecting Superman leads to a different dark fate. And then in the final battle, Barry misses his window to blast Cyborg into the Mother Boxes, fulfilling that destiny Cyborg foresaw. So Barry reverses time again to fix this.
Just gotta go faster than the speed of light, far beyond the speed of light. You gotta break the rule, Barry, and you gotta do it now. Make your own future, make your own past. It's all right now.
But despite Barry's fix, his reversal still leaves elements of Cyborg's foreseen future in place. Superman and the rest of the planet may not have been scorched, but as the epilogue scene shows, we still have a future in which Wonder Woman and Aquaman die, in which the Joker had killed Lois and turned Superman against the rest of the Justice League, in which Darkseid conquers Earth with his armada. All of that still remains the future, at least for now. Henry Allen's earlier line about running in place was likely a nod to the cosmic treadmill, which in the 2011 Flashpoint comic that is inspiring the 2022 Flash film, Barry Allen uses this cosmic treadmill to build up a speed force and travel to a specific point in time in order to prevent the murder of his mother, Nora. But like the best time travel stories, things get wonderfully effed up. Nora Allen's murder was, spoiler warning, actually committed by a figure called Reverse Flash. One of those, it happened because it will have happened, predestined type 4 time travel stories. And Barry's attempt to fix this timeline leads to him spending a lot of time in an alternate Flashpoint universe, a darkest timeline where Bruce Wayne was the one who was killed, and then the Batman of this world is his grieving father, the cold-blooded Thomas Wayne. The whole planet is wrecked by a war between the Atlanteans and the Amazonians that flooded most of Europe. It ends in the sweetest cross-multiverse connection between Thomas Wayne and his son, and the Flash restoring all of these alternate broken timelines into one universe of 52 focal characters, which DC Comics called the New 52. Now, the Snyder Cut actually pointed to these possible events in other ways in the film, like when Diana and Arthur alluded to the history of their peoples hating each other, and Steppenwolf mentioning the existence of a multiverse.
The anti-life equation. The key to controlling all life and all will throughout the multiverse.
And Zack Snyder himself confirmed during a watch-along Q&A that Barry's time reversal was meant to evolve into time travel. And before all this, when Snyder was asked about the Flash's cameo in Batman v Superman, Snyder revealed that his intention was to have Barry's cosmic treadmill down in the Batcave, actually in that spot where in the Snyder Cut, Bruce told Diana that he was visited by Barry. This would all explain why Bruce had that echo of the future back in Batman v Superman. Like Cyborg in the Snyder Cut, Barry altering the timeline in that moment caused Bruce to experience a vision of the future timeline as it was being rewritten. And now, the implication of this epilogue scene of the Snyder Cut with Joker was that Batman and the Flash were looking for a way to change Joker's mind in the past to stop him from killing Lois, and maybe now, with Harley Quinn, they finally have the Joker's key. So this was probably Snyder's plan for how time travel is going to work in a Justice League Part 2 and 3. But will the Flash movie of 2022 use any of this? But before we continue, if you've been avoiding checking the balance on that credit card because you're afraid of how bad it might be, Upstart can help you face it and finally pay it off. Upstart is the fast and easy way to get a personal loan to pay off your debt, all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple fixed monthly payment. Upstart finds smarter rates with trusted partners because they assess more than just your credit score. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans from $1,000 to $50,000. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit income and certain other information provided in your loan application. You can get approved the same day and receive funds as fast as one business day. If debt is taking over your life, it's time to get a fresh start with Upstart. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/newrockstars. That's upstart.com/newrockstars. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Go to upstart.com/newrockstars. I mean, Zack Snyder did say last week in an interview with Kyle McMahon that it's not really up to him if the Snyderverse continues in his vision exactly.
Warner's is, in DC films, by all means, they're in charge of their own world, and that's what they do. To them, the theatrical cut of Justice League is canon. That's what they kind of jump off of. And, my little micro universe is its own thing. And I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I'll let the fans decide how they want to go forward.
What we know of the Flash film is that it is going to center around Barry's quest to save his mother and clear his father's name. Henry Allen Billy Crudup is actually going to be recast with Ron Livingston due to Billy Crudup's schedule conflicts. Nora Allen is going to be played by Maribel Verdú. Kiersey Clemons is confirmed to return as Iris West, and Ben Affleck is returning as Bruce Wayne. The creators of this film have confirmed that we are looking at a truly multiversal plot that skews into alternate DC timelines. We actually started to see this with Ezra Miller's cameo in last year's CW Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event, a separate franchise now established as an alternate timeline within the DCEU time stream. Michael Keaton was also announced to return as Batman in a mentor role to Barry Allen, though recently when Keaton was asked about this, he was like, I don't know what that film's all about. Either way, Warner Brothers did release concept art of a Tim Burton era Batman fighting alongside Flash. In addition to this, Sasha Calle was confirmed as Supergirl in this film, and there's been speculation at least that Danny DeVito might show up as the Penguin, or Jeffrey Dean Morgan could return as the DCEU Thomas Wayne. So if the Snyder Cut is set in its own microverse, to use Snyder's words, separate from the rest of the DCEU with its sacred continuity of Aquaman and Wonder Woman 1984, all that doesn't matter. If the Flash could use the multiverse to make the CW continuity and the Tim Burton era Batman canon, logically, the Snyder Cut could just be another Elseworld that the Flash pulls other Batmen from. Snyder even gave them an easy layup by including among the ruins of the Hall of Justice in Cyborg's vision of that altered timeline, a portrait of Thomas Wayne, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Now, this could also explain any continuity questions you might have about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Gunn has said his movie is its own thing, not a direct sequel to the 2016 film, and it has a Starro that's very different from the mechanized Starro that we saw in the Snyder Cut. The Harley Quinn of this movie is a bit different. You could argue that she's evolved from her character of the past, or that she's just like a different character who doesn't at all care where she came from. Like that property of the Joker tattoo changed to property of no one, references of her vigilantism, maybe in Birds of Prey, and now she's got this new hatred of personalized license plates, maybe a nod to Mr. J in 2016 Suicide Squad. But really, I think the broader goal of the Flash film will be to retcon all of this inconsistent continuity as just various different Elseworlds that are still left independent of each other, with the freedom to continue forward in whatever way they want. And that includes a new Elseworld continuity for the upcoming Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman. A kind of New 52 reset, but for the films. One that doesn't erase anything that came before, but just celebrates all of it and moves forward. Support this channel by checking out one of our many great merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars here on YouTube for breakdowns of everything you love. Thanks for watching, bye.